Hey guys, so today we're just going to have a look at the rules of flag football. So we're going to go through some of the major rules, and then we're going to go through just the differences between the modified game that we're going to play and the original game that we'll work our way up to and eventually play at the end. So the first rule I want to talk about is, so whoever wins rock, paper, scissors at the start of the lesson, so their captain gets to start with the ball. So that team always starts with the ball on the opposition touchdown zone. Now the next rule is what's considered downs. Now a down is a play, so every play that you do is a down. That's the actual terminology that we use. So if you run one play, that would be your first down, and your second play is your second down, and so on and so on. So the rule with downs is your team has 4 downs to get to the halfway mark. If you get to that halfway mark, then you get another extra 4 downs to make it to the touchdown area. Little bit of a link into actual NFL. They have the same thing. They have downs. They have 4 downs, but theirs works in a bit different way. They have 4 downs to make it to 10 yards. Which is about 12 metres, something like that. So this brings us to what an actual play is, how you start a play, how you start a down. So down is obviously started when somebody called the centre. So the centre will be the person that has the ball on the line. So wherever you get tagged, the umpire will place the ball there, or in our situation, I'm not going to come in and grab the ball. You just place the ball there, set yourselves up again and run the play. So the centre hikes the ball to the quarterback's the thrower. So you play every player, so where the ball is placed is called the line of scrimmage. So every player on the offensive team needs to be on that line of scrimmage. If you're forward of that line, then you're offside and you can't participate in that particular down. So the down starts when the centre hikes the ball to the quarterback, and the down finishes, so either when number one, so a play will be successful if the quarterback passes to somebody in the area and they catch it and the tag is taken, or they catch it and they run out of bounds, or they catch it and they slide onto the ground, or they catch it in the touchdown area. The only other time a play will be successful is if the quarterback hands off to a running player behind him, which we'll discuss a bit later, and that running player runs into the field of play. So a down or a play is considered, a pass is considered unsuccessful, obviously, if the quarterback drops the ball from the hike, or the throw isn't caught and it's dropped, or the player successfully catches the ball but then throws forward again. So the last universal rule is that the quarterback can't run the ball over the line of scrimmage. So from where that hike is actually set, the quarterback has to pass the ball before they get over that line. So if you run the ball over that line of scrimmage and then throw the ball, that's actually counted as an unsuccessful down, and you bring it all the way back. There's a bit of leeway there. Say you take one step over the line, I'll allow it, but you really just be aware that that line of scrimmage, if you're the quarterback person with the ball, you're not actually allowed to run over that line. So now we're just going to go through, so those rules are universal for our modified game and the original game, but now I'm just going to quickly go through some of the modified rules that we're going to begin with. So these are the rules that we're going to start off with So the first one is that when the offensive team gets 4 downs, if they don't make it to the halfway line, the ball is put where they last started, and the new offensive team takes their attacking from that point. So what would usually happen in the original game is once 4 downs are unsuccessful, the new offensive team would take it all the way back to their starting line, but just as our modified game, we start from that last point of play. Alright, so now to have a look at some of the offensive modified rules. So the first one is when we're playing, I only allow 1 pass back per 4 downs. So each time you have 4 downs, you're allowed 1 pass back as a quarterback. So a pass back is when you actually pass back behind to a running player from the play. So the reason I only allow that once is because I really want you guys to work on actual throw techniques and getting your running routes working properly, because when you pass back, it mainly turns the game more into a rugby-like game, and if we want to play rugby, I'll teach you touch rugby. So we're better off just introduce this rule, so 1 pass back per 4 downs. So just be aware of that one. The other rule that it's a little bit different in our modified game in regards to the offense is that I actually allow the quarterback sneak. Now the quarterback sneak play is when the centre person hikes it to the quarterback, then that centre person runs forward and they receive the ball back from the quarterback. I allow that play, so in the original game that we'll work our way up to, we actually start taking that out. You're not allowed to do that, but in our game we will start that you can. So if you're the person that hikes back to the quarterback, you can then run forward and be part of that play. Alright, so just a couple of the defence rules. So universally, same for both, is that only 1 person can tag the quarterback. So that person will have a bib, so you can distribute your bib however you want. You can change it each play and have somebody different coming in. But the person with the bib that can rush at the quarterback, they have to start 7 metres from the line of scrimmage. So this just allows the quarterback a bit of time to find someone with the pass, and so that one is universal. That's the same for everyone. Now, one of the modified rules that we begin with is the defence actually has to start 5 metres back from the line of scrimmage. So everybody else on the defence line has to be 5 metres back, and this just allows us to get some of the short passes happening a little bit easier to begin with before we move on to the original rule, which is that actually the whole defence can start wherever they want as long as it's not in front of the line of scrimmage. So you can line up directly in front of the offensive player by the end of our games. Alright, so the very last rule that we're going to look at is for our modified is just that if a defensive player isn't 5 metres back from that line of scrimmage, then they're considered offside, and the same as an offensive player who's offside. If you're offside when that play starts, then you're not allowed to be a part of that down at all. And if you do get yourself in and participate in that down, then it will be a penalty. So just be aware of that. If you don't get back that 5 metres, now I do generally make the offensive team wait for you to get back, but if you're taking too long, I'll just call it and they can go, and you won't be able to take part in that particular play. Right, and just the final point, there will be a few things that we'll bring up in game, but one final point to touch on is that when you have possession of the ball and you're running, so say you've just caught the ball and you're running, try not to actually put your hands down like this where your tags are. So your tags are going to be here. If you're running and you're moving your arms like this where your tags are and a defensive player's trying to get it, you might be picked up for obstruction. So when you're got the ball and you're about to be tagged, you're not allowed to interfere with their hands at all. So you can't brush them off, you can't push them out the way or anything like that. You need to use your agility, your spin moves, dodge around them, but you can't actually use your hands to fend off in any way. Right, so it's just a run through of the general rules and some of the modified rules we use compared to the original rules that we will eventually work our way up to. So the modified rules just allow us to play the game with a bit more speed, I guess. You get a lot more repetitions, especially with throwing, so we can build our skills up a lot quicker before moving on to the original game. So obviously, just to wrap up, the aim of the game is to get the ball into somebody's hands and into the touchdown area to score a touchdown or a point. So I hope this short video helps out a bit just with the general rules, enough so we can get on and start playing some games straight up. And yeah, obviously take a look at the workbook as well, just go through those. And if you have any other questions, just let me know.